Hi everyone, it's Shelby here. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my end of the month wrap up for the books that I read in the month of April. So let's get into the video. Yeah, so I decided that I was gonna do my monthly wrap-ups, break them up into two parts. So I already did the first half of the month of April and I've already posted that video, so I'll leave a link to that and maybe put it up in the cards or whatnot if you didn't watch that video and would like to. That will be linked. So now we're just going to be talking about the rest of the books that I read in April. Overall, I didn't read as many as I was expecting to read in April. I definitely didn't read as many books as I did in March. So March, I think I read 25. This month I only read about 15 books, which then I did read 4 erotic short stories for my weird Kindle smut vlog. So if you're interested in that, I will also link that video too. And I did have a couple DNFs this month as well. So if I hadn't had those, I think I probably would have been able to read more books this month, but I read 15 books. So we're going to talk about the ones in the latter half of April that I finished, that I read. So the first one that I read in the latter half of April is going to be Wonder by Christina C. Jones. I hadn't read a Christina C. Jones book yet, and I know Jess from Peace Love Books raves about her writing in her books and thinks she loves all of her writing, and I hadn't tried anything from her before. So Wonder is on Anyplay, which is a audiobook subscription app service that I use. So this one was on there and I had heard good things about it, also because Katie Robert also read this one and really liked it. But this is a post-apocalyptic kind of world, but it's also somewhat of an Alice in Wonderland retelling. It's about this girl Allison, and she's just trying to do what she's supposed to, not get in trouble, yada yada. And her sister goes missing, so she goes into the burrows, which is kind of considered a bad place that they're not supposed to go to. So she goes there to try to find her sister and kind of finds out that maybe it's not the greatest, but it might be a little bit better than the world that she knows. She meets a lot of characters along the way, so it does have some characters that are loosely based off of characters from Alice in Wonderland, like the blue butterfly. There's a guy that's supposed to be him. She forms a relationship with this guy named Maddox, which I think he's supposed to be the Mad Hatter, maybe. There's the Cheshire Cat is a character, and of course the Queen of Hearts. So I ended up giving this 3 stars. I thought this was, again, it's perfect for a 3-star. I think it was pretty middle road. I didn't have anything bad about it. I thought it was okay. It's fine, but it also wasn't a standout favorite, and it just honestly didn't wow me. So I do want to continue trying to try out some of Christina C. Jones's books to see if maybe there's something else that I might like a little bit better than this one, but we'll see. The next one that I ended up reading is Heiress Gets the Duke by Harper St. George. I read this for one of my book clubs that I participated in. Which one was it? Ravished by Romance. That's the book club that read this. Which I think this is also read by Jess from Peace Love Books. This takes place during the Gilded Age, which I thought was kind of interesting. This is about an American heiress and a duke. His name is Evan, and his family is in debt, so he needs to marry somebody wealthy to help settle all of his debts and help pay for things. And I think, okay, I read a few books where it's like the Duke needs to marry for money kind of stories this month. So this one, I'm pretty sure the girl, her parents want him to marry her younger sister because she's seen as being like mannish, because she's very interested in like the family business, and she isn't like delicate like all the other women are supposed to be during this time. So they don't think that he would be interested in her, but he really likes how independent she is. And I don't know. I did give this 4 stars, but now that I'm like talking about it and thinking back on it, I might give this 3 stars just because I don't remember as much as I thought I did about this. I remember really enjoying it at the time. I remember liking how the Duke, I think if I can talk. I think his name's Evan, which I think is a weird name to choose for a British Duke. I've never heard. I kind of thought that was only like an American name, but whatever. He was like super into her and wanted her to continue being independent and to do what she wanted, but that was her whole thing, why she didn't want to be with him and didn't ever want to get married. Well, I mean, she did want to get married, but like not right away. Like she wanted to wait a while because she wanted to have her own business or like run her family's business. She didn't want her husband to take all of her money away from her, and it would have to be under his name instead of hers. So she didn't really like that, which I can understand that, but that's kind of what the time was. Yeah, so I may bump this down to a 3-star. I don't know. I enjoyed it at the time, but it obviously wasn't that memorable if I'm having problems remembering what the plot was about. Oh, then I read 3 Dirty Secrets. Yes, 3 Dirty Secrets by Nikki Sloan. This is in her Blindfold Club series. I just wanted to continue reading this because I'd like to try to read more. Like, I'd hope to maybe try to eventually read all of Nikki Sloan's books because I'm thoroughly enjoying the ones that I've read so far. Except this one I only gave 3 stars. It almost felt like, and I think this is the 4th book in the series, and I think it was originally maybe supposed to be a trilogy, and that's kind of what it reads like too. So that's why I only gave this 3 stars, because it just felt much more disconnected from the first 3 books. But anyway, so this is about this girl, and she is a undercover FBI agent working at the Blindfold Club, trying to catch like corrupt people, corrupt politicians, and send them to jail, I guess. So she's working at the club, and so during this time she had like some past trauma with another job where she was undercover, and she got shot, so she has like a bullet wound like on her like shoulder, kind of clavicle area. So she wants to get a tattoo and like cover it up. So she meets this tattoo artist that is friends with the original owner of the Blindfold Club, and they get into like a relationship, and she has all of these like desires where she wants to be the dominant in the relationship. Yeah, so this was definitely a 3-star read, again, because it felt pretty disconnected from the other books of the series. A lot of the characters from those series, like, they kind of popped up in this one, but like these characters in this one didn't really get mentioned in the other ones, whereas like the first 3 books were definitely like an interwoven, kind of connected like trilogy. Like I could definitely see like how those fit, whereas this one I just was kind of got added on. I also didn't really care for the relationship between the 2 characters, because I just didn't really see how it would work for them, because she wants to be dominant. She doesn't like being submissive in her like sexual relationships. It just doesn't bring her satisfaction. But then the guy that she starts forming a relationship with, he also likes to be a dominant. And he a lot of times kind of like forces her to be submissive to him, which I didn't really care for since that's not really what she wanted, but she liked him, so she kind of did it anyway. And there is a scene where they have a sexual interaction. There's a couple scenes actually where they have a sexual interaction with another woman with them who isn't submissive, so they could both be dominant toward this other girl that was like with them. Which that I could see working for the relationship, like doing that so they can get out, like have somebody else be submissive so that they don't have to. But I just don't understand how that's, in the long run, how that's going to end up working for them if they're both dominant and they're both going to be like aggressive toward each, like it just doesn't seem like it's going to work. So I read The Guy on the Right by Kate Stewart. I had heard a lot of like mixed things about this book. I didn't remember like what those things were. I just know there was like some people that hated it and some people that loved it. So this is about this, it's like a college romance. This is about this guy, and he ends up meeting this girl like right after a party, and she like breaks up with her boyfriend on the phone, and she's like, I'm done with men. I'm never gonna like date men ever again, blah, blah, blah. And they strike up a conversation and they end up becoming really good friends, but he's kind of like interested in her past being friends, but he doesn't want to like do anything because she's like very much just wanting to be friends. So he's like firmly in the friend zone. And then they start to eventually, after a while, form more of like a romantic relationship. So I gave this 4 stars. I will see if I change the rating on this. I'm not really sure. I really enjoyed the writing style of this book. I liked the 2 characters. I thought they were hilarious, and I thought the banter between them was really great. I thought their chemistry was so good, and the romance was really cute. I really enjoyed this. So there are some problematic parts that I could see people having problems with. So one thing that like when I was going through reviews of this book, one thing that people mentioned, so there's like this costume party where you're supposed to show up as like a hero. So the girl, and she's white, she dresses up as Medea. I've never seen these movies. The Tyler Perry movies. I think that's what her name is. And dresses up as her, but doesn't do like blackface or anything like that, just like clothes and like the mannerism of her in the movies, and like nobody understood who she was, and like some people had problems with that, which I could kind of see, but at the same time with that, I don't know if it's just me and I'm like ignorant or just not as well educated in this. I don't know. Please tell me. I didn't see that necessarily as a problem, just because, I mean, as long as she wasn't doing like blackface, and if she really likes the character, like why is it bad for her to dress up as her? I don't know. I just didn't understand that. Just like, I mean, anyway, whatever. If there's other like problematic things in this book that I just like missed, I did listen to this on audiobook. You know, please let me know like down in the comments. But for whatever I got from this book, I did enjoy it. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on this one. Moving on. The next one I read was Love at First by Kate Claiborne. I listened to this on audiobook as well. This one I gave 3 stars. It was meh. This is about this guy ends up like his uncle gives him his apartment when he dies, and all the people in this like apartment building are like freaking out because they're worried that he's gonna like change everything, and the landlord, or I think she's the landlord, I'm not 100%, likes him and is trying to like stop him from like changing things, and he's wanting to like rent out this apartment to other people because he doesn't really want it because he didn't really like his uncle, but then they all thought he was amazing, and it's just, I don't know. Honestly, I thought this was pretty boring. There just wasn't really too much that interested me. The two main characters were okay. There's nothing like bad about it. Like, it wasn't a bad book. It just wasn't a me type of book. Yeah, like I said, it was pretty boring. So I don't know. I probably won't read more of this author just because I don't think if she writes more books like this, they're just not my style. Then I read To Marion Heiress by Lorraine Heath. I'm trying to kind of make my way through a lot of Lorraine Heath's backlist, which is going to take me a while. That's why I'm, but we'll get there. So this is the second book in the Daughters of Fortune series. So this is the other one that I was kind of mixing up with the other, like, what was it earlier? Heiress Gets a Duke, because it's kind of sort of the same premise about this guy that needs to marry an heiress because he's broke and his family's broke. Again, I gave this 4 stars, but I might bump it down to 3 because I don't remember too much that happened in this book. I remember enjoying it, well, in the process of me reading it, but now that I'm thinking, I don't really remember what else happened in this book, so that's fun. But yeah, that's the basic premise. It was just, he needs to, let's see here. Oh, okay. Guys, so I remember now. So it's this girl comes to England, and this guy, he's a duke, I think, maybe. He inherits like his family. His dad got his family like in a lot of debt, and he can't pay all of the debts, and he really wants to. So he wants to marry this woman who is an heiress because of her money. So it's a like marriage of convenience kind of book too. So they get married, and she wants to have kids. So he's like, fine, I'll marry you, I'll give you a kid, and then your family, your money can help pay all my debts. Well, then, like, right after they get married, her dad ends up dying, and they find out that, like, right after they get married, he, like, is celebrating, and he, like, gambles all of his money away. So now, not only does this duke have his own debts to worry about, now he has to figure out what to do with his wife's dad's debts combined on all of that, which, sucks. So then he's like pissed off at her, which I was like, that's not really fair. Like, it's not her fault that her dad was an idiot and gambled all of his money away. And then she finds out after they get married and they've like been together for like a week or two, they're going back to his like country estate or whatever, and she finds out that he was already married before and has kids that he just kind of, are there. He's not really worried about. And I'm just like, dude. So yeah, so she goes about trying to, like, she likes his kids and trying to like win him over, and yeah, this was pretty enjoyable. It was cute. Yeah, so. And then the last book that I read in the month of April is going to be Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas. So Lisa Kleypas is another author that I'm going to try to work slowly but surely through all of her backlist. I'm wanting to try to read this. So this is part of her, this is like it says like it's 0.5 in her Wallflowers series, so I don't know if it's kind of like a prequel book to the Wallflowers, but I'm trying to work through the Wallflowers series and then the Hathaways, and then do the Ravenels and get through all of those books for the new book that she's doing that's coming out this summer, which is going to be in the Ravenels, like another book in that one. So that's why I'm going to try to read a bunch of Lisa Kleypas' books. So this is a second chance romance. This is about this girl who is, aristocratic or whatnot, and she falls in love when she's pretty young with the stable boy, the servant. And her dad doesn't like that, like, at all. Like, she gets caught doing stuff with him. Like, they don't ever, like, she doesn't ever, like, completely, like, lose her virtue or anything. But they get caught, and he threatens her, and he's like, if you don't send him away, I'm going to, like, do something really bad to him, because no daughter of mine is going to be married and with, like, a stable boy, a servant. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. So she's kind of mean to him and, like, sends him away, because she's like, she knows that if she's not mean to him, he's just going to keep coming back and want to be with her, and so they want to be together. But yeah, so anyway, then it's like, I think it's at least 10 years later, they end up meeting again, and her dad's dead, but some things happen to her and some things happen to him in the meantime, and he's like mad at her, wants to get revenge with her, because he's like, if she hadn't sent me away, none of these horrible things would have happened to me. I gave this 3.5 stars. This is pretty good. It wasn't like the best or anything, but I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what else is in this, like, Wallflower series, like how this book sets up the rest of the series. I enjoy Lisa Kleypas's writing. There were some kind of steamy scenes to it. The romance was, like, really cute, because so there's a bit where she gets injured, like, in an accident, and she doesn't think that she's, like, pretty enough for him, and he's all like, you're enough for me, and I'm just like, oh, it's so cute. I love that. So, but those are all the books that I did end up reading. I don't know if I mentioned in the last one, like, the short stories that I read. Like I said, I'll leave the link to that video. I did DNF 2 books. So I DNF'd, I tried to read Shanna by Kathleen E. Woodwis, and I stopped reading that because, number one, this book is like 650 pages long. And then, which is part of the reason why I stopped. I think I got through like 250, 300. And I just stopped because I just felt like the plot wasn't going anywhere. So this is about Shanna. And she just wants to do what she wants to do. She wants to be independent. She doesn't care about getting married, and her dad really wants her to get married. So he is like, if you don't get married to somebody within a year, I'm going to pick somebody for you, and you're not going to have any choice in it. You're going to get married to them. So she doesn't want that, because she's like, what if, he makes me marry some really old guy and, somebody terrible. So she decides she's going to marry somebody that's on death row, so that, she can get married to them. They're gonna die anyway, and then she can be a widow, and she can, again, do whatever she wants. Sounds like a great plan, right? So she gets married to this guy on death row, and he makes a deal with her. He's like, hey, I'll marry you, but, like, we have to actually, like, fully get married. Like, I'm going to die because, I want to have a wedding night. I want to have sex with you. I want all the rights that happens when you get married to somebody. So she's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'll do that. And then she, like, doesn't do that. And she gets told that he's killed, and she goes back to, like, her dad owns this, like, island in the Caribbean. So she goes back to this island so that she can do whatever she wants, like I said. But only to find out then that guy that she married actually didn't get killed. He gets transported as a, like, bond slave, I guess. Basically as a slave, like an indentured slave, indentured servitude, I think, to her father's island to work off, whatever debt that he has through them, like, purchasing him or something. I don't know. I'm not 100% well-versed on, like, all of the specifics of that. So she finds him, there on his island, and he's like, hey, remember that deal? You know how we're actually married? Yeah, so I want what's owed to me. And she's like, oh no. But then she, like, secretly really likes him and thinks he's really handsome. Anyway, so I stopped reading this because I felt like the plot was going nowhere. Also because I could not stand the female character of this book. Shanna was absolutely awful. She's so naive, but then also like so terrible to the male character. Like, I completely understand, you know, she made a deal with him and said she was going to do something and then didn't do it, and then he's pissed off at her about that. Like, I completely understand that. And then they do start having like a sexual relationship and start forming like more of an actual relationship. And she's still all like, oh, no. You're terrible. You're so beneath me. You're the worst kind of scum ever. And is like so down on him. Like, I felt, this may be a bit extreme to say, but I felt like she was abusive to him. Not like she's definitely verbally abusive to him, calling him all these like terrible things. But then there was one point where I think she actually like took something and like hit him. And I'm like, I just was like, okay, I'm not enjoying this book at all. You know, I was kind of hopeful that things would get turned around, and I'm sure it does, because, you know, all these books have an HEA. You know, realizes the error of her ways and that she actually loves him, blah, blah, blah. But for a 650-page book, no. It needed to be a shorter book. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't do it. And then the other book that I ended up DNFing, so I wanted to read the next book so I read The Guy on the Right, so I was wanting to read the next book in the series, which I think is like The Guy on the Left, which is about this guy that you meet in the first one, that he's the roommate of the guy in the first book, and they live next to this single mom. She's a mom, and I think she has like a 5-year-old. And you find out that the roommate guy, who is the hero of the second book, is actually the dad to that kid. You find out that he slept with her when he was in high school, did a one-night stand, and she didn't realize that he was in high school because he lied, and kind of made it sound like that he was either in college or like a teacher at the high school and not actually a student, which luckily he was 18, but she is going into, like, she just is like finishing college and wanting to be a high school teacher, and she's like, oh no, this is so bad, this cannot happen. So she like completely cuts him out of her life and his unborn child's life, and she's like, because you're too immature, you cannot be a father, blah, blah, blah. So I stopped reading this because, again, I could not stand the female character, because I was like, that, you know, I understand this is a problematic situation, but he has rights. He is 18, so he is of legal age, and he has rights to see his child. So first time he actually interacts with his child is after he moves in next door to her, and he's 5 years old. He's like seen some pictures like on Facebook that she posted, and he kind of like stalks them a little bit, because he just like drives by her house sometimes just to like see her, and he tries to give her money and give her all kinds of things to like help out and try to show her like, hey, I know I messed up, I know I'm just, you know, basically a kid, I'm barely an adult, but I want to take responsibility for this, and I want to be a father. And she's just like, no, and just like totally shuts him out. And which, I mean, I can partly understand, because feels betrayed by him and like hurt that this happened to her. But at the same time, I'm just like, girl, like, give him a chance. Like, I did not like that. I could not stand that. I just can't stand for that, when, you know, I could understand if he was somebody like a criminal or something, or like a really bad guy, but to just not even give him one single chance at all to be with his son, like, is just not okay at all. Like, maybe after he like started to try to, and he like messed up something or like screwed up some chances, then I could see her like trying to like totally cut him out. But like, no, that's just 100% not okay. I didn't like it. I found myself getting really angry at her on her bits, so I just stopped reading because I was like, this is not worth my time, because I'm just gonna keep being angry at this woman in this book. So I'm done, and I'm probably not going to read the third one in this. We'll see. I have heard some good things about this like new series that Kate Stewart wrote. I think one of the books is like Exodus or something. I have no idea what it's about, but everybody loves this, so I'll probably read those and see, because like I said, in the first one I kind of like Kate Stewart's like writing. In this book, her like style, like I got along with it fine. I just didn't care for this character. So anyway, that was a really long rant, basically, but those are the books that I ended up finishing off the month of April with. So let's see how many books I get through in May. If you've kind of seen my Maybe TBR, it's a lot of books that I'm hoping to read. Hopefully I can get there. But yeah, so if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for all the new videos that I post. I hope you all are having a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye guys.